Well, hello, everybody. I am so glad you're here. I got something I want to show you today. This is a fashion coloring book. I don't know where I got it. Yard sale, thrift store, I'm not really sure. But let me show you what I'm doing with it. I have decided to make some paper dolls. So I'm cutting these girls out of this coloring book, and well, I'm mounting them on cardstock first and to make them, stronger. And then I'm cutting them out, and I used some colored pencils to put a few flesh tones in there. And I haven't done anything with the clothes yet because that's what I want to do today. But as you can see, this coloring book is just full of some beautiful images, and they're all kind of elongated, cutesy, whimsical almost. It reminds me of the patterns, like a sewing pattern book. Um, so I am going to, let's see, there's some more I'm working on. And sometimes if one is not just right, I may have to take like the arm off of a, like this one, she didn't really have any arms. So I'll have to probably take the arms off of another one and make that. But I thought I might start with her. All right, so let's put all these girls to the side. I didn't color her from here down because I'm going to put clothes on her. But I did give her, I put a little color in her hair, a little color in her cheeks, and on her lips. So let's dress her together. So I'm going to get some lace and ribbons and fabric pieces, and we're going to dress her up. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the bodice, and I'm going to do this in layers, but I had the idea of just doing a little crisscross like that for one layer. And so we shall cut. And then you can use any glue you want to on these. I think I will heat up my hot glue, but for the most part, I think I'm going to use this Fabrifix. And I'll show you how I'm going to glue this on because there's a certain way I want to do it and a certain way that I don't want it. I don't want her to be too flat. I mean, she's flat. She's going to be a flat doll, but her dress is not going to be flat. Her dress is going to have a lot of dimension to it. So if that goes over there, and let's wrap it around the back here. All right, so I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to crisscross around to the back. So instead of pulling it really tight and smashing it, see, I'm going to leave that open just a little bit right up there. So it just kind of gives her a little bit of a little puff. Of course, this is only one layer now. I'm going to build this up where you can't really see through it. All right, so we're going to glue this one down and see how it looks. And then we'll go with the second layer. I am out in my craft room and my glue is cold. I got the heater running, but it's still kind of chilly out here, so it's very slow moving. Okay, so there that is. Got it glued on front and back. Okay, and my plan is to cover all this back, so you won't see any of this paper, this cardstock that I used. Okay, now the second layer, I was thinking maybe this right here, because it has this cute little scalloped edge to it that I thought would be such a pretty little sleeve. Let's see what we think about. If I put it halfway up, then it kind of makes this little scalloped sleeve, which I think would be kind of cute. All right, so let's take that one right there, and we'll glue these two down. Okay, now she's got two layers on her little bodice. Okay, there's the front, there's the back. All right, now, and I'm glad I left that open because I think I'm going to put some puffy sleeves up in there. I think that would be pretty. Okay, you probably can't see this, but I have a piece of tulle here, and I just cut it longer than I wanted it to be to make her a sleeve. Now, I knotted the end of my thread, but if you know anything about tulle, it's going to pull right through. So the way you get around that is when you come back around, you split your thread with your needle, and that tacks it right onto the edge. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gather up. This is going to be the top of her sleeve. So I'm just kind of gathering it up so that it'll have a nice little puff to it. Okay, and then of course I want it big enough to go around her arm. So I'm thinking what might be good is just to put something in there about the size that I want it to be. Then I can open that up because I'm going to slide it up onto her arm. Let me find the beginning. There it is right there. And I'm just going to close that little thing, but I'm not going to pull it real tight until I get it actually on her arm. All right, now let's see if that little plan worked. And you can see she didn't have a full hand either on this particular pattern, but that's okay. I will fix it. I will give her a hand, or I will hide her hand in the back, or put something in her hand. So it's just fun. All right, let me fiddle with this. All right, so of course all of this is trial and error. You know, I am giving it my best shot. We'll see what happens. But I've just kind of stuck all those gathers up under there as best as I could. And I'm going to put, it ain't going to take a lot of glue because that's just a little tiny area, but I want a little in the front and a little in the back to hold that down. And then I'm going to make sure that my threads are up underneath there. Let me find the camera. There we go. Make sure the threads, now my needle's still hanging. I haven't cut it yet, but I do want to pull that tight. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead, now that I've got her sleeve where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and just do a little tack stitch right there just to kind of knot that, catch that loop on the back. Kind of hold that in place. Okie dokie. Now then. So see, I want the sleeve to come down and it's going to puff so pretty. All right. Something like that. All right, I'll fiddle with that and I'll show you what I'm going to do. All right, let me see if I can show you what I've done. I haven't finished this one yet, but this is what I did. I took a thread and I put it around the tulle of the sleeve on that side. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, or at least that's my plan. Okay, now, so I've got a little round of thread, and I'm going to tie it loosely till I see where I want it to be. And then I pushed it up to make the puff of the sleeve. All right, so I'm going to push this up a little, and I want that sleeve to match the sleeve, and her fingers are getting caught on everything. There we go. All right, so if I push that up to about right there, that looks like it's about the same. So then I'm just going to tie this thread right here. If I can find the other end of it, there it is. All right, so let's see if I can tighten that up. I'm going to have to tighten it up a little bit and then push it because it's not staying. And I got paint on my hands. Also, I got a little bit of gesso on my hands, so that's what all that is. All right, so I'm going to push that sleeve up a little so she has two nice, big, puffy little sleeves. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue to hold that in place when I get it even. Okay, so what I've done is I made that little puffy sleeve there, and then I just pulled the rest of the tulle around and just glued it down right around her wrist. And I'm going to put a pretty little trim there. So I'm not really worried about anything like the glue show, and it's not going to show. Not when I get all done. So I'm doing the same thing here. Just kind of gathered up the rest of that little sleeve part. I did cover her arms with just some muslin because I just wasn't liking the way it was looking, except for her hand. I left her hand. A little piece of glue there. Okay. All right. Now, so I'm not going to trim this out yet until I make the skirt. So we're going to do the skirt next. And I'm going to use some fabric, some lace, a little bit of this. Come here, little girl, little girly. I was thinking about thinking about this right here. And this, you know, I thought about just starting with muslin, but I'm like, well, why not? I mean, this is basically kind of muslin. I mean, it's a great cottony little trim. Take that away. So we could use part of this, and I could start a skirt under there. But I'm going to give her a tulle petticoat first. All right, so I've cut another piece of tulle, and it's probably 14 inches or so long. And I'm just going to gather that top edge like we did on the sleeve. So I'm going to start my needle in, and then I'm going to split the threads so that it will anchor. And then I'm just going to do a gathering stitch all the way across the top. Okay, so I've got that gathered up. I've still got my needle in it because I want to fit it around her. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right below where I want her waistline to be, because I want the, you know, I want it to go from her waistline and then really gather out from there. All right, so I'm going to pull my thread up and I'll get that in the place that I want it, and I'm just going to glue it there. Okay, there she is with her little netting, her little tulle, it's going to serve as a little petticoat for her. Okay, now let's dress her. So say I want to do this underneath there. I think I will. So I'm going to just kind of guess about how much of this I want to go around her. And if it's too full, I can always take some out. And then I'm going to even out this top edge here. See where all those scallops are? I'm going to even that out, and then I'm going to stitch that. So as you can see, I'm just doing a gathering stitch across here. And I may hold it up to her in a minute and just see if it, you know, if it's too big, not big enough. I can always adjust it. But just looking at it, I think it's going to be pretty good. So I'm just going to keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, and when I get to the end, I'm going to leave it open for now and put it around her. And I want her arms up on top. Get this arm up on top. All right, now I will go ahead and join the two sides. I made sure that my knot was on the inside. All right, so I'm going to pull that up where I want it. Kind of hold it in place as I adjust some of the gathers, because right now they're all in the back. So I want to get that adjusted. You want some in the front, some in the back. Okay, so here she is with that underlayer of her little skirt in here. All right, so I'm just going to decorate this up. Okay, now I'm just kind of experimenting here as I go along, but I cut this piece of lace. It's probably 4 inches by, I'd say probably 16-ish. And I'm just finding the middle, which is about right here. And I want to start at the top. And again, I've got a knot in my thread. And I just want to gather this up. Now, the way you decorate your doll's dresses is totally up to you. There's no right or wrong. I'll probably never do two exactly the same. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. If I don't like it, I'll take it off. If I do like it, then yay. All right, so I just kind of gathered that up, and I might just go around it again one good time just to make sure. So that's gathered up, and then I'm just going to do a little lock stitch here. If I can find it. This is not my favorite thread right here. I thought it would be. That's why I don't like it. It breaks too easy. I'm going to go get another thread. All right, so here's what I've got so far. I've just gathered up that middle section. Okay, I've decided to put this on her first. This is some hand-dyed lace that I did a while back, and it looks really pretty with her. So, how much of a piece do we want to use? I'm going to guess about, I'll say maybe just a little less than 12 inches. That's probably about 10. Yeah, that's probably about 10. And I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to run a gathering stitch across the top of that. So I ended up cutting that little strip off of the top because that, when I started gathering it, it was going to make it way too bulky, and that'll be right at her little waistline. And I don't want her to have a thicker waistline. So you want her to be slim and pretty, of course. All right, so I'm going to put this one on just like I did the other. Do my running stitch, put it around her, and then fit it to her body. Okay, so I've got her little pink skirt part on, and I put this back on there just to kind of feel it out and make sure it was going to work, and I think it is. I'm going to put just a little glue in the center. So I've got that part that I gathered up right there in the center. And then I'm going to gather this one up, but as I do that, I'm going to pleat this right here, which you could stitch it also. You know, you could stitch right in here and gather that up if you want to. But I was thinking about just making these little pleats. If it works, if it doesn't, then I'll go to plan B. So I'm just going to make all these little pleats right in here. Let's see. And see how cute that's going to be. So cute. All right, so keep my pleats right where they are. And I'm going to put me some glue up in here and kind of between some of these pleats. Make sure I got them real good so it'll lay all down. And then I'm going to put something around her waist. So don't worry that all this is going to show, because it's not. I will have something pearly and lacy and pretty to go around her waist. All right, let's look at that. All right, let's pull this back just a little. Kind of want this. Oh, that's so nice. That's just what I wanted it to do. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. Is it so cute? It is so cute. All right. Now, on the back, I can leave it going down like that, or I could pull it up here just like the front is. So it's cute both ways. You could do it either way you want to. Okay, I am fixing to embellish her with some beads, but this almost 20-minute video, so I'm going to stop here with part 1, and we will continue with part 2. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.